peace and light, you all. Welcome back to my channel. Here I am, coming forward to share with you how I became a seamstress and a crocheter, if you will. Okay, so how I became a crocheter is I used to work at a facility with the youth called Wordsworth, and it was a placement for them, you know, to remain until they leave. So one of their activities was crocheting. So I learned how to crochet by one of the teenagers that I worked with. Maybe 2 or 3 of them taught me, you know, overnight before they went to bed because they couldn't sleep, and I was grateful for it. However, I put it down because it became a little boring. You know, it gets boring after, you know, if you're not moving forward with it, anything. So I got tired of making blankets, so I stopped. However, years later, I picked it up again, and that is when I began sewing, actually. Okay, so that's probably about this is 2017, so that was about 2014. I picked it back up and began creating new things. So around that same time, I had met some wonderful sisters who was in this this fellowship that we all came together and wanted to share our creativity and ideas and build as sisters should. So in the process of being in their midst, everybody was sharing their creativity and their talents, and I'm like, oh wow, yes, okay, beautiful. And on the whole time, I'm sitting there looking and thinking like, okay, well, what is my talent? What is my gift? I didn't know. I was very embarrassed within myself. I didn't know. So the time came around for me to share my gift, and I'm like, well, I don't know. So I was thinking, and I was like, okay, well, I like to write poetry and I like to dance. And we all laughed, and you know, we had a good time. And what came to me after that was my spiritual gift, was a gift of help. So all the beautiful talented sisters who expressed what they was, you know, creative in, the areas that they were created in, I was like, oh wow, you know, you can cook and you can, you know, paint and you can, you know, teach, you know, all that they could do, cook, everything. I said, okay, well, I can help you because that is my first gift. I know how to do that very well. And it was an awesome fellowship. But after I left, there was something within me that was very empty, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is my gift? I don't know. So I really thought about it. So I thought like, well, so who knows what my gifts are? My best friend might know what my gift is. She been my best friend since I was 13 years old. Called her. She helped as much as she could, and I give thanks, but it wasn't fulfilling. I called another sister who was a spiritual sister of mine that I connected with on a spiritual level. She helped as best as she could, but I wasn't satisfied. And I'm like, okay, so what do I do? I didn't even think to ask my mother. I didn't even think to ask anybody in my family. However, that same night, I went out into my backyard and I stood there and I said, Father, what are my gifts? What is my creative streak? What am I good at? And I cried. I didn't boo-hoo cry, but my tears came down my face. I really wanted to know, as I was embarrassed about not knowing what my gifts were. And to be in the midst of beautiful, talented women who wanted to build with me and I didn't know, it really, it struck a nerve, and I really needed to know. So I cried out to the Most High, and the Most High answered. So a few weeks later, one of the sisters, which was an elder, that was a part of our fellowship, she was very gifted, and one of her gifts was sewing and crocheting. So one day, I went over her house as we got to know each other, and she just introduced me to sewing. And I'm like, okay, yes. And seeing all her creations, I was really inspired, and I was like really happy about all that she brought forward. And I was thankful for that. So me asking and then allowing it to happen is very important, because we ask and then we'll close the door when it comes, because it's not by who we want it to come by. However, the Most High will use who He will, who wants to be, used, and who is on that path that we are on. And I give thanks. So she taught me how to make a skirt, and she was very firm with it, and she made me take it out when it wasn't right. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not doing this. But it was very important that she did that, to make sure I get it right. And then she just taught me the basics of how to make a skirt. And then I just learned the rest on my own. And as I continue to connect with people, I would ask them questions. So that was that. And I would just continue to grow, look up videos, ask questions, and I'm just thankful. Now, as far as the crocheting is concerned, I just personally would look up videos, and all that I was inspired to make, I would make it. And then I would come up with my own creations, as the Spirit leads and guides me. And that's how that went. So I don't want to overload you all with a video, but that's how it began. So this was about 4 years ago when I began sewing, and comes to find out, sewing is in my family. It runs in my blood, and it's amazing that I never paid attention or found out this until I was ready to learn. Why did I not learn all of this time? Because of the choices that I made. I don't blame my mother. I don't blame my family. I don't blame anyone. It was the choices that I've made by wanting to run in the streets and do everything else besides learn what my gifts and creativities are and who I am. This is who I am. I'm very creative. We all are creative. The Most High lives in each and every one of us. So we have some creativity in us, whether it's 1 or 2, we have something in us, and we just have to tap into it. We have to ask, if you will. So yes, I just wanted to share that with you. I'm excited to come forward and and share that. So I want you to be encouraged. Be encouraged with finding your skill, tapping in, tuning in, and being turned on to your creative streak, if that makes sense. Let the Creator come through you. Talk to the Most High in you. Sit alone and ask, and it will be revealed. And He will use who He will use. He, she, whoever comes through. Masculine, feminine, it will work for you. Let it come through. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, any comments, share, like, and again, be encouraged.